What up, fam? Welcome back to another installment of the Pan African Media Mix, where we go around the internet and make commentary on the different things that we observe. Recently, I was watching the channel, one of my favorites, Search for Uhuru, hosted by Prince Dynast Amir. And I was kind of shocked to see this video, but the brother made a video entitled Why Yvette Carnell Should Have Led the Reparations Conversation. If you don't know about reparations, this is a movement that has been around since pretty much the end of slavery, that has gained a lot of steam as of late, with people are requesting reparations in the form of cash payments for the American descendants of slaves or black American people, limited to those of us who are the descendants of slaves who were born in America and whose lineage can be traced back to the start of America, or the beginning of the country known as the United States of America. In this reparations movement, there are a couple of different actors, one of whom is Yvette Carnell. She is the creator of the ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves. I guess you could call it a movement or group, the ADOS advocacy group. And she has a lot of things that she says that people either agree with her on or they strongly disagree. At the very least, can be called a polarizing figure. So, most Pan Africans, we are totally cool with the idea of reparations, but not at the cost of our global black unity, not at the cost of dividing up the black family along geographical lines, which we believe will ultimately just end bad for us as a people. Yvette Carnell is a person who initially started off as a xenophobe, a person who openly spewed xenophobia towards other black groups. Then she walked that back as she realized that the xenophobia would prevent her from being used as a Democrat, as a pawn by the Democrat Party. But enough of that. I want to get right into the brother Dynas's very surprising, shocking statements that he made concerning Yvette Carnell's legitimacy. So we'll play that for you right now.
So yeah, but anyways, guys, so I wanted to continue the reparations conversation and how embarrassing and how much of a issue this whole reparations conversation and panels have been. And I'll say this. I might not agree with everything Yvette Carnell says, especially when it comes to Africa. But business is business. And these reparations conversations are, especially when we're at Thanksgiving is November 23rd. Okay, thank you. These reparations conversations, when they have these panels or hearings, these are business meetings. And when it comes to my business interests, because I would be eligible for reparations, even though some folks swear I'm an immigrant tether. Some clowns who come to try and troll. I would much rather have Yvette Carnell. I would like to see Yvette Carnell with a seat at the table.
Okay, so you heard what he said. This is a business. These are business meetings, and he would prefer and rather see. He would like her to have a seat at the table. Here's the thing: what business allows themselves to be represented by someone who's openly xenophobic, who has openly expressed xenophobic views towards other black people and people from black countries? No business does that. So when someone talks about something being a business meeting and then says they want a person who openly expressed xenophobia and continues to spew spew xenophobic rhetoric, but a little bit toned down, that's who you want representing you in a business meeting? Okay. Secondly, if anyone actually did the research on the best way to get reparations, if we looked at the examples of the Jewish people who experienced the Holocaust, the Japanese people who experienced internment in America, you would see that you would need countries, African countries, to actually sue the United States for reparations on your behalf. So how does spewing xenophobic rhetoric and hate publicly on YouTube? How does a person doing that suddenly become the preferred choice? Right, and not even just xenophobia against all immigrants of all cultures, races, and groups, specifically African immigrants, specifically Caribbean immigrants, specifically black people who we descended from, specifically those people. How does someone who openly spews xenophobia towards these people become your preferred choice in the conversation over reparations, which can only be acquired through advocacy on our behalf from one of these black nations? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
She's more than qualified. And here we go already. Listen, we all have our faults. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me back up. We might not disagree with everything.
So his chat kind of starts getting after him. They're saying, obviously there are those people in the chat who understand the same thing that I understand and know the things I know because I've covered ADOS and Yvette and Antonio Moore pretty extensively. We all understand that. So they're saying, and he says, "Oh, I know. Here it comes." Yeah, you're gonna take a lot of heat for that because people who know the whole story are gonna have something to say about that. It's like some people talk about, I want to let Adolf Hitler represent me in peace and unity talks at the UN. It doesn't work like that. You made a choice to be a xenophobe, and when you did that, you disqualified. He said she's more than qualified. No, actually, she disqualified herself a while back, and now she's trying to redeem herself. And there's a lot of people who are supposedly Pan Africanists who are suddenly trying to get on board with Yvette Carnell, and I'm like, you guys, this lady is literally the person who started the xenophobic rhetoric towards other African people across the globe.
Thing that Yvette Carnell says. Okay, I don't. It's whatever. But I know when it comes to business, sometimes, especially if I'm going to benefit from it, you have to put your ego to the side. Again, you have to put your ego to the side. All right, and take care of business. All right, and take care of business. And sometimes those people who are representing your best interest, you might not agree with them in other categories or topics, but when it comes to the business at hand, they might be on point. And when it comes to reparations, and I've been listening to Yvette Carnell, she should have had a seat at the table. You know, a lot of people say, well, she chose not to show up. And I can understand why she didn't want to show up because it's a shit show.
Okay, so right here, Yvette Carnell chose not to show up to the California reparations talks. Let's make it plain. She didn't refuse to show up because it was a ish show or a shit show, like Dynas so eloquently put it. Yvette didn't show up because she wasn't going to be able to receive reparations. She doesn't live in California. She's not a California resident. That's why she didn't show up. That's why Antonio Moore, actually, I believe, is a California resident, but he kind of follows the beat of her drum, and he has for a long time been separating himself from the ADOS movement, and maybe it hurt him, the xenophobia. It really took a toll on the ADOS movement, and ultimately, ADOS wishes to be a arm of the Democratic Party. This is why when Yvette Carnell invited all the Democrats to the first ADOS conference, and none of them showed up except for, I think, Marianne Williamson, and all of them ultimately said that they did not support reparations for black Americans or ADOS, she still ordered black people to, she's the leader, right? She still ordered black people to continue to vote for the Democratic Party. So when you have someone, when you want to send or choose someone to go advocate for you, you have to know that this person is not in the pocket of any other interest besides yours. Yvette Carnell wants you to hopelessly attach yourself to the Democratic Party. What makes you believe that she's going to stand up to a Democrat, Gavin Newsom, who ultimately shut down the whole reparations conversation in California? When that person's a Democrat, you know that Yvette Carnell will not go against them or stand up or oppose them in any way. So why would you want her at the table? She's in a mind state of we can only get reparations from one political party. We can only discuss reparations with one political party. How do you send someone like that to go advocate for you or to have a conversation for you? A person who has a conversation for me needs to be open to all options, ready to compromise, to give and receive, make concessions and gain some concessions, right? How, when that person's only looking at one side of our political system for reparations, and the other side she won't even consider them. She's already her whole mindset is totally pigeonholed. She can't see the bigger picture. And that's the person you want to go represent you? I don't know, guys.
All right, these panels, these hearings, especially in California, have been an absolute shit show. So, Yvette Carnell showing up. Then you got the Moes, we Native Americans, we was here first. Them speaking after you or trying to challenge you in front of this hearing, you ain't got time for that. So I get it. I completely get it.
Only that's
This
not why
last
she didn't
hearing that
show
was in
up.
Oakland, I think last week or earlier this week. I don't care who sponsors her, Heritage Foundation. I don't care. I don't care. All right? I don't care. Y'all worried about, so you guys are being so picky.
See, and that's ultimately the issue. Black people, we want instant gratification. So whenever someone tells you the reality, whenever someone encourages you to do your due diligence and actually do research, I don't care. I don't want to hear that. Well, guess what? You better start caring, because until you start caring, you're not ever going to get what you want. Because when you understand the way politics works, everything you've said is used against you later on. They wait till you get on the cusp of achieving your goal, and then they start tearing you apart with things you have said. So someone's like, someone in the comments, and I'm just pulling up to the comments, they say, Yvette Carnell is the last person to be leading reparations. Has she said anything about Goldman Sachs excluding black men? Didn't you learn anything for BLM? See, people understand. They understand that a person's record matters. This is how you got 90% of black people supporting Joe Biden. Because black people, we don't care about the person's record. Once it's over, once a little time's passed, oh well, who cares? I don't care, right? So, yeah. There's other people who are more qualified than Yvette, but Dinus just doesn't know who they are. Nobody's doing any research to find out who these people are. Yvette Carnell is a Johnny come lately to the reparations movement. Very late. There's people who've been fighting for reparations for black Americans, since the 60s. They're the ones most qualified to speak, because they're the ones who have done the work, and they're the ones who actually know this topic inside out. And they're the ones who have not tried to use xenophobia as a dog whistle to bring African Americans together. It doesn't make sense, right? Also, I love this comment. T bias. Thanks to Yvette. I don't know if you can see that. Let me make sure everybody can see that. Yeah. So Thanks to Yvette, I'm gonna make that comment bigger. Second one from the top, right under mine. Thanks to Yvette, I'm learning politics and how it works. For years, Yvette have been teaching us as much as she can so that we can build a coalition to present a black agenda in an effort to build political support for ADOS. Yvette doesn't teach politics. Yvette teaches shillery. I don't know if that's a word, but she teaches you how to be a hopeless servant, a slave on the Democratic plantation. Politics is where you teach somebody about all the different aspects of government. So you would teach equally about the Democrat Party as you would about the Republican Party. You would teach about the Libertarian Party. You would teach about the Constitution, which are you don't know, but it's already barring you from getting reparations. If someone was truly teaching you politics, they would be honest with you about your situation concerning reparations and how it can be achieved. They're not. These people are literally just programming you with their personal biases and their personal preferences. That is not teaching at all. That is called indoctrination and programming. Here goes. Just Me made a great comment. Yvette and Tone have the convenience of social media to spread the discussion of reparations. They haven't done a thing politically. That's totally true. They have not. In the same way as a girl on IG can become a model, quote unquote, faster than the Tyra Banks and Naomi Campbells of yesteryear. The times have changed. Dynast is totally ignoring the fact that these people are simply able to do what they're doing. They're simply able to gain notoriety around surrounding reparations because they have the internet. These people do no real footwork. They do no real footwork. That's why she didn't go to California. She ain't gonna get on no plane for reparations. That lady's gonna do reparations right in her backyard and talk about it while doing nothing, right? These people are saying ADOS forever, ADOS for life. This is more like a gang or a cult group. So the cool man says Yvette is the wrong person. She has problems getting along with people. She disrespects elders like Claude Anderson, Dr. Francis Quest Welsing, and even Dr. Darity. It's her way or no way. That is why everyone left ADOS. I can't have someone like that representing me. I mean, when you run a group, it's your way or the highway. People have to accept that. But the reality is, Yvette Carnell is not really trying to secure reparations more so than she's trying to, as much as she is trying to secure a spot for herself within the rank and file of the DNC, the Democratic Party. This is just beyond clear. ADOS has now become an advocacy group. I think she applied for a 501c4, which allows you to receive anonymous donations, political donations, and the people who donate don't have to reveal their identity. Basically, a way to funnel dark money into the Democratic Party. When I see Yvette Carnell opening up her mind to the idea of talking and working with both sides, the entire political framework in an effort to get reparations, then I'll give her another look. But until then, she's just looking like another Al Sharpton, another what's the guy's name down in John Lewis, right? Just a Democratic shield, working hard to keep her people on the Democrat plantation by using issues that we've developed an unhealthy emotional attachment to. Thank you all so much for watching this. I appreciate everything you do for this channel. Like, share, subscribe if you have not already. Thank you to Search for Huru for allowing us to use the content to basically make a critical analysis of the content. It takes a lot of character to allow yourself to be criticized for the betterment of our people. Until the next time, everybody, peace and love.